all the
I'm really interested in hearing you talk some about feel.
It all involves listening. You're trying to listen into where everyone's putting it and how everybody's phrasing and try to find a common ground. So it'll make it feel right in that particular group. So I won't necessarily play the same exact way with every group that I'm playing with. I mean, I really listen to who I'm playing with and where they're putting it and how they like to phrase, and try to just be supportive of that. And hopefully that helps the whole thing feel good.
So time isn't a metronomic thing to you?
No. I usually practice along with records. Even like rudiments and things I would put on a record and try to kill two birds with one stone and learn the tune and also practice my rudiments along with the recording. Later, you know, when I studied with Alan Dawson, I did a lot of work with a metronome. And I think it's good, and I recommend that for students. I think that's good to have something that you do each day where you use a metronome. I don't think like dictating the time and say, here it is always the best thing to do. I think, you know, you have to listen and find where everybody is, because sometimes you know, if it feels too far behind and you're like, man, well, if I'm playing like with a metronome says it's here, so I'm going to just keep it there. It's not going to feel good. So sometimes you have to bend and stretch that elastic to make it feel right. You know, it has to have. I think good jazz time has some elasticity to it. If you listen to records and you set a metronome, chances are it's not going to stay dead on that metronome. It's going to. I mean, that being said, you want to stay within a certain, you know, not get too far ahead or too far behind. But no, man, it's not metronomic. That can get maybe too static and too sterile, for my taste.
How does it feel to you? Like, where do you feel it? How do you know it's right?
Well, I think, you know, from years of listening and playing and experience and really critiquing myself too, you know, sometimes I'd listen to myself when I was younger. I record gigs and go like, man, why doesn't it feel this way when I play? I listen to these records that I love and it just feels good, man, you know, but I'm not getting that feel. And it takes a while, I think. It takes a lot of experience and a lot of listening. Then just playing, you know, sometimes I think you can overthink it. You know, you can try to think, well, man, I got to do this, or I got to lay back, as opposed to just giving yourself up to what feels right in that moment. You know, just giving up to the moment, and maybe, you know, closing your eyes and listening and go like, okay, man, this feels good. This feels good. I try to think of why I wanted to do this when I was young. You know, why did this feel so good when I was young, you know? And sometimes you learn all this stuff and you forget, man, it just feels good to play time and to lock in a quarter note with a quarter note bass line. And just that basic time of bass and drums and a piano comping and locking that in, I mean, then everything else is icing on the cake, man. If that feels good, then you're probably doing okay.